Reshan, are there any practical scenarios that you would suggest for teachers that would want to think more about differentiation? What would be like, the top 3 steps they should follow if there's such a list?
I don't know if there's such a list, but I can at least provide kind of a strategy or an approach. Can I share my screen? Will that work?
Sure.
Let me see.
Let's see.
Is that visible?
Yes, it is.
All right. So I'm just gonna go to a blank slide. So I would say, like, when thinking about differentiation at the point when you're designing, or maybe you're kind of redesigning something that already exists, is figure out how you can, at the point that you're creating or designing it, have it function in multiple ways, so that you're working with the same starting content, but then have multiple ways that it can be presented and accessed, so that you're not creating like 4 separate, independent tasks, but rather you're doing most of the heavy lifting at this phase, and then you're designing out from there. So, I'll give a more concrete example here. Let me just move this over. So like, I'm just going to use like an early elementary math example. So here's like a little block. Sorry, my daughter is like jumping on a trampoline here.
Well, that's okay. That's a remote working for you, right?
Yeah. More real world troubleshooting.
Yeah. So this is a very rough base 10 block. Let me just make sure I've actually got 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it doesn't exactly mirror what I might use in the classroom. But I just, I've made a bunch here now, and I'm going to also make like a single unit block. So you're just kind of seeing me talking out loud as I construct some digital artifacts or materials for use in another purpose. So I've made a square. I'm going to duplicate that a bunch of times. Here's a little trick. I'm going to arrange line left, line top.
Nice. So now you have a stack.
A line left, a line top. So now it looks like a stack, but there's actually a bunch there. So like, this might be, maybe I'll also like create a little bit of space. I'm doing this hand drawn because we're going to model some addition. So like, I've basically got right now, not so pretty, but functional template for modeling or practicing some basic like addition and being able to demonstrate some form of understanding. So now that I've created that once, I can actually duplicate this a bunch of times in case I want it for different things. So for example, I might first want to model some form of addition. So let me just say like, 3 plus 11. And I'm going to hit record. I'm not going to record my audio here. Okay, students, this is how we can use these manipulatives to demonstrate this addition. So first, we're going to take 3 unit pieces. And we've got 2 numbers here. We've got a tens and a 1. So I'm going to take 1, 10, and 1, 1. And now let's see what I got. Actually, let me move these over here. And now I can count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I get 14. So in 30 seconds, I've just modeled a strategy. Now we can argue about the effectiveness of this strategy in a different setting, but now I've got a video that I've made. But I could also just have, let me hide that. I could add some text here, use these 10 blocks. Maybe I'll duplicate that. Use these unit blocks. So I'm doing this in like super rapid fire while also live, adding additional pressure, of course. But so that video that I'd created before, imagine my written instructions are better. I could also, this is asking me to leave it. Why not? I'll rejoin. I could send this, I'm going to just choose this one page as a document. So now imagine I'm worried about connectivity or capacity. I can now create this as a PDF or even as a printout that could be a material sent to somebody, right? So that they could at least see some sort of static model of this principle and try to engage as best as they can. I'm reconnecting post export. So right now, the same content very quickly, I've used it in two settings. I've made a video and I've made a piece of static instruction. I could also send this blank one. Now, all of a sudden, let's say 12 plus 7. I could export this as a single page. And now it becomes a sheet that a student can hand draw and write upon to show their modeling of this function. Or I could export this as a project. So somebody who can open this up on a device, a Chromebook, a laptop, an iPad, whatever, could actually model the same exact behavior that I just showed. So if we go back to what I was talking about, right, I'd created one artifact, right, with those things and a problem. And then I'd created an instructional video. I'd created a document handout. I'd created like a worksheet. And I'd also created like an interactive opportunity. And all of the effort was front loaded in the design. But now I've created 4 situationally differentiated entry points for somebody to engage with this particular concept or skill.
That's a great illustration.